friends, and welcome back to the Casserole of Disasters Halloween Hell Show. And we're going on another series tonight of Casserole of Disaster Visits. This time we're going all the way down to the most southern point of the United States, Key West, Florida. Oh man, I love that town. Every hour is happy hour. It's a fun place just to go, get away. It's tropical. You can almost see Cuba. Best food, best people. It's a really fun time. I try to go at least once a year, but it's a really, really fun time. If you haven't go, I highly suggest it. However, there is a massively dark part of it. There are some crazy, crazy stories, and I'm not just talking like bump in the night, Charleston Pink Lady ghost type things. Hell no. I'm talking some really twisted, bizarre stuff has happened there. And tonight we're going to be talking about one of those stories that gets under my skin. And I've got to be a little bit careful with this one because when it comes to curses, I don't know. So let's try to suspend disbelief for just a little bit, because this story does sound pretty fantastic, but I've seen this thing in person, and I tell you what, it is a different thing when you're standing right next to it. The amount of people who have experienced the bad side of this are pretty remarkable. Tonight we're going to be talking about my pal and your pal, Robert the Doll. There's a lot of conflicting stories, but I did get this book. It's actually autographed. I didn't know this, but I got it because Robert the Doll now resides over at the Fort Martello Museum, which is connected right next to the airport of Key West. So every time I'm leaving Key West, too much sun, too much fun, too much drink, it's always cool to kind of go through there and feel like you're actually doing something to fill your mind, because it's just nothing but history on Key West. But this is where this dude lives. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Robert the Doll, let me give you a little backstory to him. It was given to Eugene Otto and the Otto family. So he was an only child, kind of shy. I don't know, maybe he had some sort of learning disability or personality disorder. I don't know, but he had no friends. So he acquired this doll through, I believe it was his great aunt. And it is not a friendly looking doll. It is, quite honestly, one of the more sinister dolls I could ever imagine. So he named the doll after himself, Robert. Eugene and Robert were like that. Almost so it became apparent to other people, including his parents, that it got a little bit weird. So in the course of Robert and Eugene's relationship, Eugene would sometimes scream out in terror in the night, and the parents would go running in, only to find his room in shambles, things broken all over the place, and the key phrase would be, "Robert did it." And that became more and more frequent, where there would be some sort of horrible event, and Eugene would be quick to blame Robert, saying that Robert told him to do that, and Robert was mad at this person. Kind of creepy stuff. Eugene went off to school, leaving Robert to reside in the home, and they tucked him away upstairs in the attic. This is where it gets a little creepy. So Robert would be in the window, and kids and people would walk by, and they would see this doll moving about upstairs. Eugene's mom was so terrified of that doll that she would lock the door upstairs and say repeatedly that she could hear giggling and footsteps walking up and down the hallway. So let's fast forward. Eugene comes back from Paris. His father had passed away. It's just his mom there, and he's married now. He's married to this lady. Eugene's mom passes away. They inherit the house, and Robert and Eugene are now reacquainted again, and the obsession takes back over again. Very weird. A grown man, a famous painter, can't go anywhere without that doll. So this book by David Sloan really goes in depth with history, chronicles events, letters, people's experience with Robert the Doll. And over the course of 3 years doing this, he actually has suffered quite a bit, not just with his health, financially. He's been attacked, he said, by invisible forces at night, and he went from a skeptic to an absolute true believer in the matter of course that it took to write this book. Highly recommend that you get this. It's just called Robert the Doll. I got this at that Fort Museum. pretty rad, really. But it will creep you out. When you read this at night, you will creep yourself out. And they have all sorts of detailed information. But to me, the scarier stories from Robert the Doll was after she had passed away and the doll was left in the attic and new tenants took over and they experienced the same craziness. In fact, there was a new family with a little girl who found the doll and said that that doll had actually physically attacked her. I think one story that stands out to me is when a plumber went upstairs to the attic for whatever reason. He was plumbing in the attic, and he found Robert the Doll, and it really unnerved him a little bit. As he proceeded to work, he witnessed the doll move from one part of the room to the other, right out the side of his periphery, and then he heard childlike giggling, which caused him to flee the house in absolute terror and refuse to come back again. If I was in that plumber's position, I'm pretty sure it would have gone like this. Well, I'm just a plumber up here in the attic, plumbing something, and okay, oh, that's a creepy doll. Oh, I forgot something in the truck. I'll be right back. Yep, that's exactly what would have happened. So throughout the course of the history of Robert the Doll, they finally donated Robert the Doll to the museum, where he is safe under glass, not to be touched. But however, big rule of thumb, ask permission before you take his photo, because I tried a little experiment. Now, I've seen Robert the Doll live before, and I've asked permission, which feels a little funny to do, but I've asked permission, taken the picture came out fine. This time I did not. It's never a good idea to fuck around with something with a curse before you get on an airplane, but I wasn't really thinking. And so I said, well, what would happen if I just started taking pictures? Like, hey guys, this is Will with Casserole Disaster. I'm back here in Key West, and we're about to go say hi to Robert the Doll again. And I proceeded with my iPhone to take a series of pictures, and a lot of them didn't come out. And my camera that I'm actually shooting on now, this Canon, the battery got completely drained, and it was full because I was waiting to go to this museum, and I didn't want to use it for some of the other places that I went, for fear that I just wouldn't have enough time to do this, and I would screw up, a potential of getting, some good footage of this, and completely died. Brand new battery, brand new camera. Okay, so apparently the story goes you have to ask for his permission to take this picture, so I can't really understand that. I can't really figure that one out. I know that iPhones, I've never experienced that in my entire life, where you're taking a picture and for whatever reason it blacks out and you don't get any footage out of that. And that actually happened, which you can see here. Just very, very bizarre events that hadn't happened. And of course I apologized and I said, dude, you and I are like bros. I'm so sorry. Nothing but respect, because I did get a little creeped out by that. You see the presidential sign, you see the letters saying thanks for being you. And it's crazy to be next to Robert. This is, I'm not gonna say anything that's gonna screw me up. So anyway, hang on. I've got a whole post coming about Robert the Doll, and absolutely check out on Amazon Prime, Lore. They got a great documentary on Robert the Doll. So, oh my goodness, I'm here with him. All right. So today, when I was driving around, I do this a lot when I know that I'm going to be filming something. I kind of review it in my head and I say it out loud, because things in your head sound a lot different coming out of your mouth. And when I'm alone in the car, I kind of go over some dialogue outside of this, and I was talking about Robert the Doll on that. And it's a little bit funnier, when you're kind of nudging things a little bit, or ribbing them, or making fun of things a little bit. It makes for a little bit more of an entertaining video. And I was coming up with some of the jokes for Robert the Doll, and I was driving down the road and a massive, huge oak fell down, almost crushing my car. Missed by fractions of a moment. Had I been just a nanosecond sooner, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. A few of the branches hit the back of my car when I went through, and it was one of those moments where I was in such shock, I just took my foot off the accelerator and just kind of coasted for a little bit. It was pretty wild, and that storm was pretty severe. Coincidence? Probably. Is it his curse that came back and said, I'll teach you? I don't know. I'm a healthy skeptic. I do believe there's something out there. What it is, I don't know. What Robert is, I don't know. How they acquired him, some say, you know, it was his great aunt. Some say it was some member of the family. Some say it was, you know, voodoo. That there was, you know, somebody who practiced voodoo giving it to the family, knowing full well there's a curse on that. So there's a voodoo element in that. So that's Robert the Doll. Very eerie, very creepy. Some say it inspired the movie Child's Play. Some people say it has nothing to do with Child's Play, that was just pure coincidence. I don't know. I like to think that it was. You got the voodoo element in there, you got the doll element in there, and you got both are incredible assholes. If you find yourself down in Key West, go to the museum, check them out, be kind to them, read some of the letters. The letters are pretty surprising, and these are actually real letters. I'll read you one right now. This is dated March 31st, 2010, not too long ago. I'm very sorry for not asking your permission to take your photo while visiting the museum last week. Since I've taken your picture without permission, many strange things have happened to me. While driving back from the Keys, a deer ran out in front of our car. We had to swerve to avoid hitting it and ran off the road. We almost hit a tree. 2 days later, we had a small kitchen fire. Also, we've been hearing childlike giggles from the basement. Fuck that. Hell no. Last night I was home alone. I heard a voice coming from the basement. I went to investigate, tripped and fell down the bottom 3 steps. I got up to run up the door, was locked. My husband said that I probably turned the lock myself, even thinking that I may have locked the basement myself, but honestly, Robert, we both know the truth. Please accept my deepest apologies for taking your picture without asking. Also, please accept my daughter's apology for sticking her tongue out at you and making fun of you. Sincerely, been redacted. Go visit him. Be nice to him. Give him a shout out. He's my boy, he's your boy. Yeah, so we're going to continue these travels. I got another video for Key West, Florida, because there's something even more bizarre and kind of gross from Key West, Florida. So keep that in mind here. And Halloween.